In this video, we'll show you how to create a website using WordPress for 2018 and 2019. A great website design will stay relevant for at least 2 years, and for this step-by-step tutorial, we'll use a premium WordPress theme to create a fully responsive website that looks great on all devices. The website we'll create together is SEO-friendly with a fast page load speed, features an optimized UX design, and includes an intuitive and beginner-friendly drag-and-drop page builder. The theme we'll use comes with a number of pre-built designs that you can leverage in just a few clicks to create a stunning website. So, regardless of what type of website you want to build, we'll provide you with the tools you'll need to do it. There's a link to the live demo in the description below, or you can enter oaklyn.com, OHKLYN.com/go/Ultra-demo. This theme leverages a one-click demo content importer to enable you to build exactly what you want, like a creative agency-style website or one of these other layouts just as easily, such as a more corporate or consulting-style website like this. A niche-specific website such as a fitness website, restaurant, cafe, or bar website, portfolio, resume, or magazine-style website, or a wedding website. Just to name a few. In addition to that, the theme we'll use includes over 65 professionally designed layouts that you can use as a starting point to create your website. You're able to choose around 15 different header and menu styles to get the exact look you want. These include the standard layout with the navigation at the top in a number of variations, header and navigation on the left or right, header with a slide-out navigation menu, header with a navigation menu overlay, or a minimal header and navigation option, just to name a few. In addition to amending the global look and feel, customizing the pages and posts of your website is incredibly easy to do using the drag-and-drop page builder. In this step-by-step WordPress tutorial for beginners, we'll show you what to prepare and the things you need to consider before creating a website. This is something a lot of people miss and ends up wasting time and causing a lot of frustration. We'll then cover how to secure your domain, set up your hosting account, and install WordPress. Review the fundamentals of WordPress that you need to know and provide you with free access to a more detailed overview in case you're brand new to WordPress. We'll then upload and install your WordPress theme. Install any required plugins, as well as explain what plugins are and how you can use them. And finally, go through how to customize your website, covering the fundamentals on creating and managing pages, posts, menus, widgets, and how to adjust the global design settings of your website. We'll show you how to access more than 10 hours worth of free video content that walks you through customizing every inch of your website. So regardless of how intricate your website design is, you'll have the tools to create it. So, if that sounds good, then let's get to it. We've created a blog post that accompanies this video that you can follow along on the Oaklyn website at oaklyn, OHKLYN.com. There will be a direct link in the description below. In that post, you'll find the written instructions, as well as any links mentioned in this video. So we would recommend opening up the post in a new tab and following along. For this tutorial, we'll use the Utlra theme by Themify. There's a link in the description below. To access a discount code that gives you 30% off the Utlra theme, subscribe to the Oaklyn newsletter and you'll be sent a welcome email with the discount code included. Similarly, for this tutorial, we'll show you how to set up your WordPress website using Bluehost as your hosting provider. With the link in the description below, you'll get access to discount hosting and a free domain name if you haven't purchased one already. We recommend Bluehost as they provide great quality hosting at an affordable price. They have an intuitive user dashboard. They will also automatically install WordPress for you and provide 24/7 support, making it the ideal option for beginners. As an affiliate partner, they'll also set aside a few dollars to help fund future free tutorials like this one. So thanks for using the links provided. If you require premium hosting or faster hosting, we've included a discount link to WP Engine. You will notice a difference in speed between the two providers. However, for most people, the more affordable Bluehost option will be fine, and you can always upgrade later on. Okay, so before we start building your new website, let's make sure you're prepared. You've heard the cliches. Preparation prevents panic. If you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail. And when it comes to creating a website with WordPress, they're all true. By taking a couple of moments up front to put together a game plan for creating your website, you'll save yourself a lot of time and create a much better outcome. Firstly, let's take a look at website design. In this section, we'll provide an introduction to user experience or UX design. For this, take out a sheet of paper or open your favorite drawing tool and sketch out the pages you want to include in your website. The most common include a home page, about page, contact page, portfolio page, services page if it's a business website, blog page, including the individual post pages and blog archive pages or category pages, and a privacy or terms of use page. You might have more or less, but make sure you draw it out. Next, for each page, create a rough guide for what will be on the page in terms of text, images, videos, and other elements, such as counters, bars, testimonial sliders, etc. Will there be a sidebar? If so, on what side? And what will be included within the sidebar? For example, on the home page, we might have a hero image at the top with a heading and a call to action, or CTA button. Next, we might have an intro paragraph of text on the left and a video on the right. Below that, we'll have a headline differentiating our business. Then, we might have a row with 3 columns that feature an icon, title, and blurb in each column. You see where we're going here. Go through this process for each of the pages you want to create. When we get to the step on using the page builder, you'll see how easy this is to create, particularly if you've got it all mapped out already. From a user experience perspective, you should think about the most important action that you want the user to take on that page, and make sure that it's both above the fold, meaning it's visible when the page first loads, and it's obvious and/or repeated in a way that makes it easy for the user to engage. Similarly, use buttons and your brand colors to draw the user's attention to important pieces of content. As an example, on the Oakland post for this tutorial, you'll see that we have the Bluehost link in a button, as clicking on this button is an action we want the users to take. Oakland is an affiliate partner of Bluehost, and if a user clicks on this button, Bluehost knows that we referred them. In addition to the user accessing discount hosting and a free domain, Bluehost will set aside a few dollars from their marketing budget to fund future free tutorials like this one. So if you haven't already, we appreciate you using the links provided. Now, if this page was a landing page and not a post, and if this was the #1 action we wanted users to take, we would also include this button above the fold. So, consider the actions you want users to take on your site as part of your planning. You also need to consider how users will consume your content. Typically, Content will be consumed from top to bottom and left to right. If your target market consumes content differently, make sure you've considered this. Does the flow of the information you're presenting make sense? Does it logically take them through a process or tell a story? Because it should. Next is brand design and content planning. Once you've outlined the pages you want to include on your website and the rough layout for each page, you'll then need to start writing the copy, sourcing, or designing the images and graphics, and planning the navigational elements. Go through each page layout, write the content for each section, and decide on the media elements you want to use. On the Oakland blog, there's a link to an article with a list of free high-quality stock photo sites with images that you can use for free on your website, as well as a few of the best stock photo websites where you can purchase more unique and higher quality images. From a branding perspective, you'll need a logo, a favicon, which is the icon that appears in the browser tab when a user visits your website, and your brand color palette, including the hexadecimal color codes. We'll show you how to customize your website with these colors later in this tutorial. There are a number of great tools like Paladin.com, Adobe Color, or ColorHex.com that can be useful. If you need help with copywriting or graphic design, consider using a third-party platform to help get these things done professionally and efficiently. We'll link a few options below and on the Oakland post. Lastly, is setting a budget for your website. You'll need a small budget of around $150 to $300, depending on the options you choose. This will include things like your website hosting at about $3 to $10 per month, depending on your hosting term. A premium WordPress theme, which is typically around $50 to $100. Premium images, if you want to use them. Or a graphic designer, if you want to create some custom graphics. Once you get started on that, or if you've already got that under control, we can move on to setting up your new WordPress website. The first step is to register your domain, if you haven't already. Set up your website hosting account, and install WordPress. So we're all on the same page, let me quickly explain what they are. Your domain, or URL, is the web address for your website, and is what users will type into their browsers to access your site. For Oakland, it's Oaklyn, OHKLYN.com. Pick something that works for you. Hosting is what allows your website to be accessible to users 24/7. It's the process of storing the content and data for your website on a web server and serving it to the users. For this tutorial, we'll walk you through getting started with Bluehost, as we believe it's the best option for beginners. If you want a premium hosting solution, we'll provide a link to WP Engine that entitles you to a discount, and we'll provide a link to our video on how to set up a website with WP Engine. The Oakland website is hosted on WP Engine, and our demo sites are hosted on Bluehost. Okay, so let's go through the steps for setting up hosting for your website and registering your free domain with Bluehost. Here's a list of the types of domains that are included for free, some of which include a .com, .online, .store, .net, .org, .co, .club. Now, if you've already purchased your domain, or if you want to purchase an alternative top-level domain, such as .io, something relevant to your niche, or a country-specific domain, such as .co.uk or .com.au, you can purchase that domain through a registrar like GoDaddy, Crazy Domains, or any other domain registrar. We'll add some links below. If you go with that option, or if you've already secured your domain name, all you need to do then is change what's called the domain name servers to point at Bluehost, which will be your hosting provider. Fortunately, We've written an article and a step-by-step guide on how to do this. We'll add the link to this guide in the description box. To get started, follow the Bluehost link in the description below, or if you're on the Oakland website, follow this button here. We'll then click on Get Started Now. As part of this process, we'll provide a link to our video on how to set up your free SSL certificate, which will encrypt the data on your website. This is good practice as it improves the security on your website and allows you to take payments on your website as well, in the event that you want to include an online store as part of your website. For specific e-commerce tutorials, check out our free WordPress tutorials page on the Oakland blog or on our YouTube channel. You'll then select the plan that's right for you. If you intend to have just the one domain, then the first option will be fine. Alternatively, if you want to have multiple domains on one hosting account like we do, then you'll need to select one of the other plans. You can always amend this down the track. The great thing with Bluehost is that you get a 30-day money-back guarantee on any plan, so you can get started risk-free. For this example, we'll go with the middle option. To get your free domain name, you'll enter the desired domain name for the website into the New Domain field and select the domain extension you want, for example, .com, and hit Next. If the domain name isn't available, you'll get an error message and will need to either select an alternate domain name, try to contact the owner of the domain to purchase it from them, or select another top-level domain extension. If you've already purchased your domain name, enter your domain in the Transfer Domain field and select Next. Remember to review the article on how to change the DNS records to point at Bluehost. To set up your hosting account, enter in the required account information. In the Package Information section, choose your desired hosting term and domain add-on preferences. We recommend selecting Domain Privacy Protection so that the personal information that's associated to your domain isn't publicly available. This is optional, of course. Once you've entered in the required information, add your payment details, review the terms, and select Submit. Once you've done that, you'll be taken to this page here. You will have been sent a confirmation email to the designated email address on the account, as well as a WHOIS verification email. Follow the link in that email to verify the email associated to your new domain. You will need to create a password for your hosting account. To do that, click on Create Your Password. Make sure to pick a secure password. You could use the Suggest Password tool to help you with this. Once you've entered in your password, review the terms of use and select Next. You will then be able to log into your Bluehost dashboard. As part of the new Bluehost offering, WordPress will automatically be installed on your new domain. If you've registered your domain elsewhere, you'll need to amend the DNS records to point at Bluehost and install WordPress using the Bluehost one-click WordPress install. For the steps on how to do this, review our article on the Oakland blog. The direct link will be in the description below. You can choose to install one of the free pre-selected WordPress themes on your domain. However, with WordPress themes, you typically get what you pay for. As premium themes are regularly updated when WordPress changes, they're often more secure. They provide you with access to support as well as a greater range of design and customization options. So for this tutorial, we'll use a premium WordPress theme and select Skip this step. WordPress will now be installed on your domain. To access the back end of your WordPress website, click Start Building. This will prompt a guided tour, which you can choose to run through or not. We'll go through this in our tutorial, so we'll click on I don't need help. This will take you to the Bluehost tab within the back end of your WordPress site. To access your WordPress dashboard, click on Dashboard in the menu on the left. There will be a number of notifications that you can action or dismiss by clicking on the X in the top right corner. You can amend what's visible on your dashboard by clicking on the Screen Options drop-down in the top right and checking or unchecking the boxes. A number of additional plugins will be installed, and you can view these by hovering over Plugins in the Admin menu on the left and selecting Installed Plugins. In addition to the standard WordPress plugins, Bluehost will install Jetpack, Mojo Marketplace, Opt-in Monster, and WP Forms. You can leave these active or choose to deactivate and delete these plugins. We'll leave this up to you. We'll delete ours, as we like to use as few plugins as possible. This can be done in bulk by selecting the checkbox next to the plugin, choosing Deactivate from the Bulk Actions drop-down, and then clicking Apply. We'll then delete all of the selected plugins by selecting them and hitting Delete. Then return back to the WordPress dashboard. If we enter our domain name into a browser, we'll see that WordPress is now installed. Congratulations! You officially have a new website. It's not much at the moment, but you're a lot closer than you realize. All right. We've gone through the first two steps, which were preparation, as well as registering your domain, setting up hosting, and installing WordPress. We can now move on to the next step. Whenever you want to log into your WordPress website, enter your domain and add /WP-admin to the end, such as example.com/WP-admin. Then enter your username and password setup in the prior step. You'll then be taken to your WordPress dashboard. The first time you log in, depending on which hosting provider you went with, there may be a Walk Me Through It feature, or Welcome series which you can choose to follow along or not. We've installed WordPress in a development environment. It's a clean WordPress install, so it should look the same. However, if it's slightly different, don't worry. The fundamentals will all be the same. We do a lot of WordPress website and blog development for clients, webinars, and live workshops, and prefer to work in a staging or development environment before pushing a site live. However, it isn't always necessary, and for the purpose of this video, you can build your website on your live site. We would, however, recommend installing a Coming Soon plugin so you can launch your site properly once you're ready for the world to see it. We'll add a link to a video on how to do this in the description below. For similar videos and tips as you build out your website, subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the videos section of our channel. The WordPress dashboard or admin panel is broken down into three main sections. At the top, we have the WordPress toolbar. The menu or admin menu is located on the left-hand side, and the main admin area is in the middle, where we'll do most of our work. We'll give you a brief overview of each section now. However, for a more detailed overview, watch our free How to Use WordPress tutorial, which is an introduction to WordPress for beginners. This is intended to get you up to speed on the fundamentals of how WordPress works in about an hour. So the WordPress toolbar at the top is dynamic and adjusts the available options depending on which page you're on, and if you're viewing the page from the front or the back end. The admin menu located to the left of your dashboard is separated into three main sections. These are the Dashboard section, the Content Management section, and the Site Administration section. The Dashboard section provides easy access to the dashboard, updates, and additional plugin features. The Content Management section is where you create and manage posts, pages, media items, comments, and additional plugin features. The Site Administration section is where you configure the design and appearance settings for your website, including selecting the active theme for your website, creating and managing menus, widgets, and customizing your website's theme. It's also where we manage plugins, users, control global WordPress settings, and activated theme and plugin extensions like SEO, social sharing, theme-specific settings, and security. We'll go through some practical examples for each of these in the coming sections once we upload our theme and start working with content. However, one thing we recommend doing before we move on is updating the permalink structure for your website. This will impact how your URL strings will be created for pages, posts, etc. To do this, hover over Settings in the Admin menu. This is where you'll manage your global WordPress settings. We cover these in detail in our How to Use WordPress tutorial. Then select Permalinks. The default option leverages a more journal approach featuring the date in the permalink. However, the more common option and what we'd recommend from an SEO and UX perspective is post name. So we'll select that option and save our changes. You can learn more about each option under the Help tab and choose the best option for you. We recommend doing this before you start creating content so that your URLs are created the way you want. Also, if you want to update your user profile or add users to your website, you can do this by hovering over the Users in the Admin menu on the left and selecting from the options here. Alright, moving on. The menu is fully responsive, meaning that as the screen size gets smaller, the menu adjusts to remain accessible on all types of devices. Lastly, the main admin area serves as our primary workspace and adjusts depending on what's selected from the admin menu. We'll draw your attention to the Screen Options tab in the top right corner. When you open this tab, you'll see a list of options and features that are available for display depending on which page you're on. Similarly, the Help tab to the right shows you helpful hints for the page that you're on, as well as links to relevant documentation. Once again, for a detailed walkthrough of WordPress, we recommend watching our How to Use WordPress tutorial. Okay, now that we've touched on the fundamentals of WordPress, let's move on to choosing and uploading your WordPress theme. A WordPress theme is a group of files that work with the underlying WordPress software to enhance the design and functionality of your WordPress website. For a more detailed overview, check out our What is a WordPress Theme article on the Utlra blog. There are both free and premium themes that you can use for your website. The main benefits of using a premium theme is enhanced security, access to support, the inclusion of more extensive theme documentation or instructions, extended functionality, and access to demo content and pre-built layouts, which for around $50 to $100 is good value. Premium support packages can cost $50 a month, so the fact that this is included in a premium theme makes it a smart investment. On the Utlra blog, we've analyzed hundreds, if not thousands, of WordPress themes based on speed, design, ease of use, mobile responsiveness, and functionality, which you can access via the WordPress Theme Reviews category of the Utlra blog. For this tutorial, we'll use the top-rated business website theme, Utlra by Themify. For 30% off, subscribe to the Utlra blog and you'll be sent a welcome email with an exclusive discount code. The link to the theme is in the description below, or if you're following along on the Utlra post, you can click on this button. From here, you can either purchase just the Utlra theme, with or without the Photoshop files, or under pricing, you can select one of their club memberships, which give you access to all of their themes. Depending on which option you choose, you'll get various inclusions for the year, or you can select their Lifetime Club, which gives you access to everything for life. We have their Lifetime Club as we use a number of their themes, but pick what's right for you. Enter in your information. If you've subscribed to the Utlra blog, add the discount code you received in the welcome email and select Next. Add your payment information, then log into your Themify dashboard. The next step is to download a copy of the Utlra theme. From your Themify dashboard, scroll down to the Themes section. Click on the Utlra theme link to download the theme file, which will be a zip file. You will upload the theme file as is, so there's no need to unzip the file. Next, we'll upload the Utlra WordPress theme. If you want to install a child theme, you can either use our free child theme generator, located under Resources in the Oakland menu, by following the instructions. Alternatively, you could use a plugin called Child Theme Configurator to help set this up. This is best practice, but not essential. To upload and install your WordPress theme, from your WordPress dashboard, hover over Appearance in the Admin menu on the left and select Themes. From here, select Add New. Then click Upload Theme. Select Choose File. Navigate to the zip file you downloaded earlier and select Open. Click Install Now. This will start the process to upload and install the Utlra WordPress theme. Once the theme is successfully installed, click Activate, and your new theme will now be live on your website. You will then be taken to the Themify Settings page. Once the Utlra theme has been installed, you can navigate back to this page at any time by hovering over the newly created tab called Themify Utlra and selecting Themify Settings. The first thing we need to do is install and activate any plugins that are required by the WordPress theme we've just installed. In this case, we'll see a notification at the top of the page. To do this, click on Begin Installing Plugin. Select the required plugins and click Install. That will install the required plugins. We'll click on the option to Return to Required Plugins Installer. To activate the plugins we've just installed, select the plugins and select Activate. Once any required plugins are activated, we can either return to the dashboard or navigate back to the Themify settings by hovering over Themify Utlra in the Admin menu and selecting Themify Settings. You'll notice that there are a number of tabs within the Themify Settings panel. These include Settings, Skins and Demos, Transfer, and Update. We'll go through the Settings tab in detail shortly, as this is the main tab for controlling the global theme settings for your website. The Update tab is used to manage the version of the Utlra theme installed on your website. The Transfer tab allows you to import and export data for the Themify Settings panel. The tab we'll look at first is Skins and Demos. This tab allows us to leverage demo content to create a well-designed and functioning website in minutes, with just a few clicks. Here you have the option to import all the demo content, theme settings, widgets, and menus to replicate exactly what you see on the Themify demo sites that can be viewed by clicking on the View Demo button from within the Skins and Demos tab below each example, or by following the link in the description below or on the Oakland post here to the Utlra page, and then scrolling down to the Demos section and following the link to the specific demo site. As part of this theme, you'll also get access to over 65 professionally designed page layouts that you can use to create your website from scratch if you choose not to use one of the pre-built layouts, or if you've got existing content on your website. We'll cover off how you can use these shortly. To select one of the skins, you just need to click on the skin you'd like to use and select Save. If we view the site from the front end, you'll see that the skin has been applied. If we select another demo skin and hit Save, then refresh the page from the front end, you'll see that it changes the look of our website. Once you've clicked on the skin you want to use, for this example we'll use the agency skin, you'll notice that you get the option to import the demo content. If you've already got content on your website, you won't want to import the demo content. However, if you're starting from scratch, and you want to use one of the demos as a starting point for your website, then you'll select Import to import the demo content into your website. Depending on which demo you want to import, you will be prompted to download additional Themify Builder plugins, which you will have access to as part of your Themify membership. Before you do that, decide if it's a feature you want to include in your site. For example, the agency demo includes the typewriter plugin, which you may want to use. However, if you don't want to use that feature, then you won't need to install that plugin. To install the required plugins, from the Themify members area, scroll down to the Builder Add-ons section. To download each plugin required for the demo you want to use, simply click on the specific plugin link to start the download. Repeat this for every required plugin you want to use. To upload and install the required plugins, from your WordPress dashboard, hover over Plugins in the Admin menu and select Add New. At the top of the page, select Upload Plugin. Click Choose File. Navigate to the zip file for the first plugin you want to upload. Select the plugin, zip file, and hit Open. Then click Install Now. Once the theme has been installed successfully, select Activate Plugin. Select Add New and repeat the process for the remaining plugins. Pause the video and finish the steps. Great. Let's move along to the next step. Once you've installed the required plugins, navigate back to the Themify settings panel by hovering over Themify Utlra and selecting Themify Settings. Head back into the Skins and Demos tab or refresh the page, and we can now select the demo we want to use. In this case, we'll go with the Agency skin and click on the Import option to bring in the demo content for our website. Once that's done, the page will refresh and we can go to the front end of our website. The skin and demo content is now imported and ready for us to customize. This is a great way to get your website up and running within a few minutes, with a number of layouts pre-created, making it easy for you to build out the rest of your website. You'll notice that this demo leverages a Google map, and at the moment it's showing an error. This is because we need to add a Google Maps API key. That sounds complicated, but it's very straightforward. If you don't want to include a Google map on your website, you can ignore this and just delete the section. However, if you want to include a map, from the Themify settings, click on the Themify Settings panel. Scroll down and click on the Google Map option. On this tab, there's a field to add your Google API key, and below that, there is a link that shows you how to generate your API key. Follow this link and go through the steps to generate your API key. Once you've created your API key, copy and paste it into this field and hit Save. Your map will now be working. We'll go through how to customize modules later, which will allow you to set the address, etc. Back to the demo content. If you decide you don't need the imported posts and pages, in the Skins and Demos tab you can select Erase, and that will remove the content, but leave the Themify panel settings and widgets, etc. in play. Okay, let's move on to customizing your website. So far, we've gone through setting up your WordPress website, uploading the theme and required plugins, as well as how to leverage the demo content to get up and running quickly. In this section, we'll look at how to create pages and posts and how to create and manage menus. We'll then explore the global theme settings and customization options where you can upload your logo and favicon, set your brand colors, amend your typography settings, and choose the default header, page, and post layouts for your site. As part of that, we'll look at widgets and how you control your website's sidebar and footer options. We'll then show you how you can access over 10 hours of free content specific to your new website so that you can go through every element in as much detail as you'd like. Lastly, we'll advise you on some best practices and next steps, such as how to ensure your website is discoverable via search engines such as Google, and how you can leverage Google Analytics for free to provide insights on your website traffic and users. So firstly, let's take a look at how to create additional pages, as you will no doubt want to include pages that aren't included in the demo site. Or if you're not using the demo content, you'll want to know how to create the pages you want, as well as how to either leverage the pre-designed layouts or build out your design using the drag-and-drop page builder. For this example, we'll create a new page and set this as the home page for our website so that you're aware of how the home page is set for your website. To create a new page, from your WordPress dashboard, hover over Pages in the admin menu on the left. To view all the pages on your website, click on All Pages. Alternatively, to create a new page, click Add New. You could also hover over the Plus New option at the top of the page and select Page. Or from the All Pages tab, click on the Add New button at the top. The first thing you'll want to do is give your page a name. If you've selected Post Name as your permalink structure, this will be used to create the URL for this page. For this example, we'll call this Landing. If you're new to WordPress, we recommend watching our How to Use WordPress tutorial, where we cover the default WordPress options available when creating pages. On the right-hand side, you can select if you want to assign a parent page. This will impact the site hierarchy as well as permalink structure. In this case, we'll leave the default of No Parent. If we scroll down, at the bottom you'll see the Themify Custom panel. We'll go through setting the default global page settings shortly, but you're always able to overwrite these for individual pages here. We're going to load in one of the pre-designed layouts, which is a full-width layout with no sidebar. So in the Page Options tab, we'll set the sidebar option to No Sidebar. And we'll set the content width to full width. We'll also select Yes for the Hide Page Title option. This will create a clean slate for us to bring in the pre-designed layout. To add one of the pre-designed layouts, scroll back up to the top and click on the Themify Builder button to launch the front-end builder. If it hasn't already launched, click Turn on Builder in the toolbar at the top. In the Themify Builder menu at the top, hover over the Layouts icon and select Load Layout. You can either search for a specific layout, view the layouts by category, or scroll through the available options. You can preview layouts by clicking on the Search or View icon. In this case, we'll select the app layout by clicking on the layout. You'll be asked if you want to replace or append the layout. We'll select Replace. And the layout is now loaded into the page. We'll go through a practical example of using the page builder shortly. For now, we'll save the page and go to the backend by clicking on Edit in Backend. This takes us to the backend version of the Themify Builder for the page that we're editing. The backend editor is located in the Themify Builder tab of the Themify Custom panel, which we'll explore further in the next section. To set this page, or any page, as the home page for our website, we'll hover over Settings in the admin menu and click on Reading. Under your home page displays options, make sure that a static page is selected and then choose the page you want to set as your home page from the home page drop-down list below. In this case, we'll choose the page Landing. then select Save. If we go to the home page of our website, we'll see the landing page we just created is now our home page. Go through and create the rest of the pages that you want to include on your website by following the same process. Paint in broad strokes for now, as we'll get to how to use the Themify Builder to customize your pages shortly. We'll focus on getting your website structure and critical elements right first, such as pages, menus, your logo, and branding, as well as the global layout settings. If you want to include a blog on your website, you'll create blog posts the same way, the only difference being that you'll need to set up categories first by hovering over posts and selecting Categories. Here's where you'll add the blog categories that you'll assign your blog post to by entering the category name and selecting Add New Category. Repeat this process for all the categories you want to include in your blog. Once you've created your categories, to create a new blog post, hover over Posts in the Admin menu and select Add New. You'll add a title and your content. Select the category for the post on the right-hand side. Assign a feature image by clicking on the Set Feature Image option on the right-hand side. And either uploading an image or selecting one from the media library. Then, preview or publish your post. The default blog page will feature your recent posts unless you create a custom blog page and set it as your blog page via the Reading Settings tab, like we just did for the home page. For more details on anything we covered or didn't get a chance to cover in this tutorial, follow the links to the Utlra or Themify Builder documentation pages. Here you can access over 10 hours of detailed content covering every element of this theme. Pause the video and create the pages, posts, and categories you want to include on your website before going live. By now, you should have roughly created the pages, posts, and categories for your website. Don't worry, if it's not perfect or you're not 100% sure on the exact structure, remember, broad strokes. What we'll do now is go and create the menu structure for your website, so you can easily navigate through your website while you continue to build out your layouts and content. Menus in WordPress are created and managed in the dedicated Menus section, which you can access by hovering over Appearance in the Admin menu and selecting Menus. On the left, you have the available content that you can add to your menu, such as pages, posts, custom links, categories, etc. To add more options, click on the Screen Options tab at the top and check the boxes next to the elements you want to add to your menu. For example, tags. Under Screen Options, you can also enable the ability to set the link target for a menu item, which means whether the link opens in a new tab or not, as well as assign CSS classes, which is slightly more advanced than what we'll cover today. However, if you're interested in learning some HTML and CSS fundamentals for WordPress, register for one of our courses at courses.oaklyn.com. Back to the menu options. On the right, you have your menu structure. If you uploaded the demo content, a main menu and a footer menu would have been created for you. If not, we'll need to create a new menu by clicking on Create a New Menu. Enter a name for the menu. This is for your reference. Then select Create Menu. At the bottom of the page, you can select where you want this specific menu to be displayed, as either the main navigation menu located here, or the footer navigation menu located in the footer of your website. We'll set this menu as our main navigation menu. To add menu items to your menu, select the elements from the left. Then click Add to Menu. You can rearrange the order by clicking and dragging the menu items into place. Similarly, you can create menu hierarchy by clicking and dragging the menu item across to sit underneath the item above. For example, we'll add the blog page to our menu. Then add our blog categories as well. And organize the categories to sit underneath the blog menu item. If we save that and view our menu from the front, our menu items are now all there. If we hover over blog, we see that the categories are sitting underneath the blog drop-down, and if we were to click on them, they would take us through the category archive page and show the user all the posts associated to that category. If we head back to the menu options, one great feature of the Utlra theme is the ability to include mega menus, which are great from a UX perspective as they allow us to show large amounts of information in an efficient way. To show you what we mean, if we click on the blog menu item, under the Mega Menu option, we'll select Mega Posts from the drop-down, and then hit Save. If we navigate to the front end and refresh the page, when we hover over the blog, you'll see that we now have this awesome mega menu with the blog categories on the left, and when we hover over them, it shows the posts for each category, which the user can engage with directly. This is a very cool feature and is something you can incorporate in a number of ways on your website. You can also add custom links to your website's menu. To do this, click on the Custom Menu Link option on the left. Add the URL for where you want the menu item to link to, and the link text that you want featured in the menu. Then click Add to Menu and drag it to where you want it to be positioned in the menu. If you want the custom link as an organizational tool and not a link, you can set the link URL to a hashtag. And if the user clicks it, it will only reload the page they're on. There are a few instances where you may want to do this, so now you know how. To amend the footer menu, you'll approach it the same way, by either selecting the footer menu that was created with the demo content and amending the menu items, or creating a new footer menu following the steps we just went through. Remember to refer to the documentation for further information regarding the menu options available with the Utlra theme. We'll now move on to the global theme settings, where we can begin customizing your website to reflect your brand and design style. To access the Themify settings from your WordPress dashboard, hover over Themify Utlra and select Themify Settings. We'll go through the Settings tab and cover off the fundamentals you need to know. The great thing about the Utlra theme is that there are so many options. In fact, we'd need more than 10 hours to cover every option. So what we'll do instead is cover the things that will be important to everyone, such as setting your favicon, amending your website's header and menu layout, and setting the default layout for pages, posts, and other global elements. In the description below and on the Oakland post, there will be a link to the Themify Builder documentation and detailed video tutorials, which we would recommend opening up in a new tab in case you want further clarification on anything. Before we jump into the Themify settings, it's probably best if we explain a few things first, to ensure we're all saying the same thing. As far as published content goes, the basic architecture of WordPress includes static pages, individual posts, portfolio posts, and archive pages. Static pages are the pages of your website where the content is relatively static. For example, your home page, about, contact page, etc. Individual posts are the blog posts you create that are relevant to your business, industry, or niche. Individual posts are grouped by categories, which serve as an organizational tool and provide additional context and meaning to users. Tags can also be added to individual posts. Individual portfolio posts are most commonly used to showcase examples of work or case studies, etc. These function in a similar way to individual posts where they are associated to a category. Archive pages are typically the category pages and showcases the individual posts or portfolio posts associated to that specific category. Essentially, these pages act as an archive of associated posts. For example, if you had a lifestyle blog, you may have a category called Fashion, with a number of individual posts related to fashion. If you were to click on the fashion category link on your website, you'd be taken to the Fashion Archive page, which would display all the posts related to fashion. This page is what's referred to as an archive page. Okay, so hopefully we're all on the same page, and we can now run through the Themify settings. Within Settings, the first tab we have is General. Here we'll upload our favicon. A favicon is the icon that appears in the Browser tab when a user is on your website. Your favicon image will need to be square. However, it can be a PNG image if you want to include a brand element that isn't square. To upload your favicon, click on Upload. Add your favicon and select Open. Then click Save in the top right. There are a number of options below which we won't cover. However, we'll draw your attention to the header code section, which allows you to copy code snippets that will be added to the head tag for the pages and posts of your website. This is great for adding Google Analytics tracking code or your Facebook pixel, etc. If you need to add any code to the head tag of your website, this is where you do it, without needing an additional plugin. As we mentioned, we're only going to cover the things that are most likely important to everyone. Review the rest of the settings in each tab on your own to see what's relevant to you, and check out the documentation if you need further explanations. The next tab is the Default Layouts. This is where we set the default layouts for pages, individual posts, and archive pages, as we discussed before. We'll walk you through our preferred settings and provide some rationale. However, you choose whatever is best for you. The first option is the Archive Sidebar option. A number of the layout options will include the placement of the sidebar on your website. The sidebar in WordPress is referred to as a widget-enabled area and allows you to set a global sidebar that appears on all pages, posts, or archive pages, where a sidebar is enabled. Themify Utlra has two sidebar widget-enabled areas that you can leverage. These are the standard sidebar and a narrow sidebar, which you can include in your design. If you're new to WordPress, review the documentation to get your head around widgets and widget-enabled areas, as they are a powerful feature. Widgets are managed in their own dedicated section, which you can access by hovering over Appearance in the admin menu on the left and selecting Widgets. We'll open this in a new tab. On the left, you have all the available widgets. And on the right are the widget-enabled areas. You'll see the two sidebar areas, plus the social widget area that sits in the header, as well as the footer social widget area that sits in the global footer. If you imported the demo content, there may already be widgets added to the various sidebars and other widget areas. If we go to the blog page of our site, on the right-hand side, this is the sidebar widget area. If we go back to the widget panel, you'll see that the widgets that have been added to this area align with what's being displayed in our sidebar. To add a widget to the sidebar or any widget-enabled area, simply click on the widget on the left. Select the widget-enabled area you want to add the widget to, and select Add Widget. Once the widget has been added, you can drag it into place. click on the widget to amend its settings. Once you've updated the widget, hit Save. To delete a widget, click on the widget, then select Delete. Okay, so that's a crash course on widgets. There are theme-specific widgets down in the bottom, like the Themify Social Icons widget, that you can add to the header or footer to link to your social accounts, etc. In the Themify settings, we'll show you how to add your social media links so you can use this widget to easily include them on your website. Let's head back to the Themify settings. For the Archive sidebar option, we'll select the option with the sidebar on the right, as this is the most common option. Post layouts allow us to choose how we want individual posts to be displayed on archive pages. Choose the option you like the most. Review the display options that sit below that, such as the Display Content option. We would recommend showing just the post excerpt rather than all the post content. Also, decide if you want to display all the post metadata, such as the author, date, category, etc. The next group of layout options relate to single posts, which, if we go to the blog page and select a specific post, this is the layout this section is referring to. Once again, we'll leave the default layout, but pick whichever is best for you. Once again, go through the options below and trial a few to see what works best. Towards the bottom, we have the default page layout. We'll set the page sidebar option to No Sidebar. We'll hide the page title on all pages and disable comments on all pages, as we want to work with a clean slate on all pages and don't want people commenting on any of our pages. Comments on blog posts are fine, but we don't want people commenting on our home page, for example. Once you've made changes, select Save to commit changes. The next tab is the Portfolio Layouts. If you want to include portfolio posts on your website, then follow the process we just went through and assign your preferred layouts to both portfolio archive pages and the single portfolio posts. Next, we have the Theme Settings tab. By default, the Utlra theme is fully responsive. However, here you can disable this, which we wouldn't recommend. Here you can also amend the responsive breakpoints, which basically refer to the defined screen widths that represent desktop, tablet, and mobile screens. Once again, it's probably best to leave the defaults unless you have a specific reason to change them. The section we will explore together is the Theme Appearance section. Here you can set the generic theme accent color and typography. You have more control over these settings in the Theme Customizer panel, which we'll cover off next, so we'll leave this as is for now. However, below that are the various header options you have available, which dramatically impacts the look and feel of your website. For example, if we change the header style from the default horizontal header to header min bar option, save the changes, then refresh the front end of our website, you'll see that the look of the whole site has now changed. Let's go back. We'll change the header back to the default header horizontal option. Have a play around with the various options to see which one you like best. Depending on which header option you choose, the options below that will vary. Many of the options will include the ability to disable the sticky navigation, exclude the site logo or tagline, as well as the option to exclude the search functionality or social icons. Under Theme Appearances, you're also able to pick your footer design from the options available. Based on the design you choose, you'll be presented with additional options. The widget component will be managed via the Widgets tab we just explored. The text components are managed by scrolling to the bottom of the Theme Settings page we're now on and adding your text to the fields. The footer styling will be controlled via the Theme Customizer panel, which we'll show you how to access in the next section. The last tab we'll go through together is the Social Links tab. We've covered how the social widgets can be added to the header or footer of your website via the Widgets tab, And you know how to exclude social icons via the Theme Appearances section in the Theme Settings tab above. In this tab, you'll manage the social platforms you want to include on your website, how they're displayed, and add the links to your accounts. To add a new social platform, say Instagram, scroll down to the bottom and select Add Link. Give it a title, in this case, Instagram. Add your Instagram link in the link field. To insert an icon, click on Add Icon. Search for the icon you want to use, in this case, Instagram. Then select the icon you want. You can drag the box to rearrange the order. Then hit Save. If we refresh the page from the front, the Instagram logo is now present, and if we click on the link, it takes us through to our Instagram account. To amend the details of an existing social link, just update the details you want to change, for example, the link details. Then select Save to commit the changes. To delete a social link, simply click the X icon. Save your changes, and the social link is removed. Okay, so those are probably the most important aspects of the Themify Builder. However, please go through the rest of the options and refer to the documentation for further details. It's worth noting that within individual pages and posts, you have the ability to override the Themify settings for a specific page, which is a really powerful feature, allowing you even more control over the design of your website. For example, if we navigate to the example page we created before, by hovering over pages in the admin menu and selecting all pages, we'll then click on the landing page. Once we're there, if we scroll down to the Themify Custom panel at the bottom of the page, in the Page Options tab and the Page Appearance tab, we can alter these settings for this individual page, which is a pretty cool feature. All right, let's move on and take a look at the Theme Customizer. The Theme Customizer is where you have full access to all the global styling options for your website. To access the Theme Customizer, from your WordPress dashboard, hover over Appearance and select Customize. You could also hover over Themify Utlra and select Customize. Either way, it will take you through to here. You'll notice that the Theme Customize panel has two tabs, Basic and Advanced. Most of what we need will be in the Basic tab. However, as the name suggests, we can access more advanced options in the Advanced tab if required. Now, we're not going to go through all of the options, as we'd be here all day. However, what we will do is go through the most important ones like adding your logo, setting your brand accent colors, and updating the global fonts, etc., so that you have a solid understanding of how to use the Theme Customizer. For this section, we'll refer you to the Theme Customization and Styling documentation, the link to which will be in the description below and on the Oakland post. This guide takes you through every option in the Customizer to make sure you have all the information you need. Let's take a look at how we can add a logo to your new website. From within the Customizer, scroll down and click on the Site Logo and Tagline option. Here we can amend the logo and the tagline for our website. We'll click on the Site Logo dropdown. Here we can choose between using the site title as our logo, uploading a logo image, or setting no logo. We'll choose the logo image option. To add our logo, we'll click on the plus icon. We can either upload our logo image or choose an image from the media library. We'll drag our logo to add it to the media library. Set an alt text, which is good practice for all images. And click Insert Image. This will add our logo to the header of our website. It's good practice to set a width or height parameter to ensure your logo doesn't pixelate or look odd. In this case, we'll set a width parameter of 200 px by adding 200 px to the first box. If you want the logo to take the user to someplace else other than the home page when clicked, you can add a custom site logo link at the bottom. To commit changes, remember to hit Publish at the top of the Customize panel. And if we view the site from the front end, our logo is now added to our site. If we go back to the Theme Customizer and click on the Site Tagline option, here we can choose to include text, an image, or show no tagline. We'll choose to show no tagline. However, if you want to include a tagline on your site, here is where you'll do it. Once again, publish any changes. We'll minimize the site logo and tagline options panel, and we'll scroll up to the Accent Styling tab, which is where you'll add your brand colors if you want to include them as accent colors on your website. To do this, click on the Accent Styling Options dropdown. Here we can set our accent font, background, and link color by clicking on the Color Selector box. You can either select a color and its opacity, or enter in the hexadecimal or RGBA color code of your brand color. You'll see the elements this affects in the preview panel on the right. Remember that these are global changes and will be applied to your entire site. That being said, you are able to overwrite these settings via an individual page's Themify custom panel or via the Themify Builder itself. You can amend the header background color and other elements via the Header Options dropdown by selecting the Header Wrap option. You can set the background color here. Similarly, you can amend the sticky header options by following the same process in the Sticky Header Options panel. The sticky header is the navigation header that sticks to the top of the page as the user scrolls down the page. This can be disabled via the Themify Settings panel, as we covered earlier. The best way to get up to speed with all the available options is to have a play around and see what works best for your design. Reviewing the documentation and video guide for this section is also a great way to explore your options further. The last thing we'll cover in this section is how to amend the global typography settings for your website. To amend the body and paragraph font, scroll up to the top of the customizer and click the Body Options panel. Then choose the Body Font option. Here you can choose from a web-safe font or a number of Google fonts. Set the default paragraph font size, line height, font weight, letter spacing, as well as a number of stylistic options and the font color at the bottom. As an example, we'll add a strike-through to the body font. You can see that the changes are previewed in the right-hand panel. We'll undo that by clicking on the strike-through option and minimize the Body Options panel. We can do the same thing to set our global heading styles. To do this, we'll click on the Headings option. In the preview panel on the right, we'll scroll down to the first section of the page with the title Instant Upload and Access. If we right-click and inspect this heading, we can see that it's a heading 3 or a H3. If we want to style all heading 3s in a certain way, we can click on the Heading 3 Font option dropdown. And let's set the Heading 3 font family to something like Dancing Script by selecting it from the dropdown. You'll see in the preview panel that has now changed, and if we scroll down, all the heading 3s or H3s on the page now have that font applied. You can also adjust the font weight, line height, etc. to get your design looking just the way you want. We recommend setting your global font styles here as opposed to doing it on individual pages, primarily because if you change your mind later and want to adjust anything, you only have to do it in one place rather than on every page. It will also ensure your design is consistent throughout your website. Okay, hopefully you're feeling relatively confident to go and customize your website further. The only way to get good at this is to get your hands dirty and play around with the various settings to find out what's right for you. Once again, review the Customizer tutorial and documentation for more details on any of the settings. Remember to publish any changes that you've made before closing the Theme Customizer panel. Things should now be starting to take shape, and we can move on to the most important section, which is building out your page layout designs and populating your website with content. For this, we'll go through the fundamentals of the Themify Builder and show you how to access the free tutorial content covering all the features you'll need to build your website. To ensure you're comfortable using the Themify Builder, we'll go through an example of how to customize one of the pre-built layouts to suit your website design. We'll also show you how to create a page from scratch using the Themify Builder modules and pre-built rows. Let's jump back into the landing page we created earlier so that we can explore the Themify Builder. To navigate back to that page, we'll hover over Pages in the Admin menu and select All Pages. From here, we'll select the landing page we created before. To launch the front-end version of the Themify Builder, click on the Themify Builder button. Then click the Turn on Builder option from the toolbar at the top if it hasn't launched already. This will activate the drag and drop page builder, which is one of Utlra's best features. In the description below and on the Oakland post, you'll find the link to the Themify Builder documentation, which includes a detailed tutorial and guide for the Themify Builder. As everyone's needs will be different, it wouldn't make sense for us to go through all the options here. Instead, we'll cover the fundamentals of how to use the builder and get you up to speed with the most common features. If you want to dive deeper into anything along the way, refer back to the theme documentation that we've provided the links to. The best way to think about a web page is in terms of rows and columns or as a grid. If you've sketched out a rough guide of the layouts for each page on your website, then creating them using the builder will be easy. If you haven't done that yet, we'd recommend pausing the video and doing that now, as it will make the process much easier. Let's take a look at our sample landing page. Once the Themify Builder is switched on, you'll see a toolbar appear at the top with a plus icon in the top left and a Save button on the top right. The Save button is used to commit any changes you make to your website, and if you hover over the plus icon in the top left, you'll see a panel appear that shows all the available modules that you can add to your website. By clicking on the Rows tab within there, you can see all the pre-built rows that you can leverage to speed up the process of creating your web pages. Here's a tip. Don't look at the content of the pre-built rows, as the content can easily be changed. Look at them in terms of their row and column layout or structure. Refer to the Themify Builder documentation for a detailed look at the toolbar and the other aspects of the builder that we don't cover in this tutorial. Similarly, follow the link on the Oakland post to the Builder modules documentation. This walks you through every setting option for the modules available to you via the builder. Okay, next. If we hover over the image at the top of the page, you'll see that a light gray bar appears. This signifies a row. On the left-hand side of the bar, we've got the column options for the row. Here we can choose how many columns we want to include in this row, up to 6. On the right-hand side, the first icon is our row options. Within there, we can set our row width to either the default. This sets the width of the row to the custom row width for the theme. This can be amended via the Theme Customization panel under the Advanced Options, if required. Full Width Row Container sets the row to full width so that when you apply a background image or color, like in this example, it covers the full width of the browser. The content containers within the row, however, are set to the row default width, which is nice, as you don't need to worry about adding padding to columns or modules to push them off the edge of the browser window. Full width content is the last option and makes the row full width and pushes the columns within the row to full width as well. Below that is the row height options, the ability to add a CSS class, and the option to add an ID or anchor name to the row. The most common way to use the row anchor is when you want to link from one section of the page to another section of the same page. You'll notice that in this example, if we double-click on the Download button to open the button settings, you'll see that the link address is #download. This is linking to the section of the page with an ID or anchor name of download. If we scroll down to the bottom of the page to the Download section and click on the row options for this section, you'll see that this section has a row anchor name of download. If we open up this page in a new tab and click on the Download button, you'll see that it takes us down to the Download section, where the user can then download the app. Another common use case for this would be linking to a Contact Us section on the same page with a contact form. Okay, hopefully that makes sense and you can see how you can use that technique. You could also add a custom link to a menu using the page URL with the hashtag and anchor name to link to a specific section of your page from the menu. This is how the navigation works for one-page websites that include a navigation menu. All right, back to our row options at the top. The next option is the styling options. Here is where you control the design settings for the row. In this example, if we click on the background option, this is where the background image is being set. Your options include an image or background color, gradient, video, or slider. To remove the background image, you would click on the X. You could then either paste in an image or video URL, upload an image or video, or select one from your media library if you've already uploaded one. Below that, you could set a row overlay color or gradient, as well as an overlay on hover. Below that are the font settings for the row, which includes the alignment, etc. And further down, you can apply padding or margin to the row. It's the padding on this row that's creating the space above and below the text and button in this section. We won't go through all of the settings as we'll go through a few practical examples in a moment. However, review the theme documentation to get familiar with the options that are important to you. The Visibility tab allows you to show or hide the row on specific devices. And the Animation tab allows you to add animation and set parallax effects. You will need to hit Save to commit your changes. The other options you have on the right are the ability to duplicate the row, import or export the row, delete a row, and the option to minimize the row. If we hover over the text in the header section below, you'll see that a darker gray bar appears. This is what's referred to as a sub-row, which we'll show you how to create shortly. You'll notice that you have the same column options available on the left for a sub-row, and on the right you have similar options there as well. Below that, you'll notice that the sub-row has 3 columns with the text and button sitting in the middle column. You'll notice that each column has its own styling options. Within the middle column, you'll see that the text and button modules have their own setting options. To edit any module, in this case the text module, you can click on the edit icon or simply double-click on the module. To amend the text, type in the text you want. The great thing is that it will preview live for you to see the changes you're making. You can set the level of heading you want to use if it's a title. If you want to add a link within the text, select the text you want to link. Click on the Insert Edit Link option. Add the link address and click Apply. In the Styling tab, you can amend the various settings available for that module. The most common will be under the Font option. Here you can amend the text alignment and various text attributes. You can go through the rest of the options for each module. You'll also have the visibility options and animation options for the module, like you did for the row. For example, if we set the animation to Slide in Right, select Save. Save the page, and then open the page in another tab. You'll see that the text slides in on load. Let's head back. If we double-click on the button module, up the top you can set the size and style of your button. In the text field is where you amend the button text. And we can add the link destination for the button to the link field. For example, we'll link to the contact page. For this, you don't need to include the www. Part of the URL, just everything after the .com or root domain. So in this case, /contact. Under the Styling tab, you can customize the design of the button. The most important things will be alignment, which will be controlled under the Font drop-down on the General tab by selecting the Text Alignment option here. On the Button Link tab, this is where you amend the background and background hover color for the button, link and link hover color, the amount of padding for the button text, and border style and attributes. Save any changes. If we double-click on the image module below that, you'll see that while there are different setting options, they are very similar and function in the same way as the examples we've covered so far. The best way to get comfortable with the Themify Builder is to invest a bit of time exploring the options. Remember to review the documentation if you need more information. So far, we've gone through the basics of updating content. What if we want to change an existing layout? Let's scroll down to the next section. Here we have 3 columns, a quarter, half, and another quarter, with an image, text with a button, and another image. First, let's duplicate this row by hovering over the row settings in the top right and clicking the Duplicate button. You'll see how we now have 2 rows. Let's go to the second row. Say we only want this row to have 2 columns, a half column and another half column. To do that, hover over the column options for the row in the top left and select the 2 even columns option. Great. Now let's assume we want to delete the image that's in the left column and instead use the image that's in the right column. To do this, we'll delete the image module in the left column. Then drag the image that's in the right column over to the left column. We can change the vertical column alignment by hovering over the column options for the row. Under the column alignment option, we can choose between top, center, or bottom. Below that, you can quickly amend the column direction and change the gutter space or the space between the columns to narrow, none, or back to default. If you want to add a new row, you can either scroll down to the bottom and create one from scratch by clicking on the plus icon and adding in the modules you want to use. Alternatively, you can leverage one of the pre-designed rows by clicking on the plus icon at the top of the page. Navigating to the Rows tab. Then select the row you want to use and simply drag it into the builder and place it where you want it. From there, you can easily customize it with your content, using the parts you want and deleting the parts you don't want. Okay, so hopefully you're starting to see how easy it is to create a beautifully designed website with just a few clicks. Let's go through the process of creating a new page from scratch. To do this, we'll save our changes. Then click on Edit in Backend to head back to the WordPress dashboard. From there, hover over Pages and select Add New. We'll give the new page a name. We'll just call ours Test. Once we're there, we'll click on the Themify Builder button to launch the page builder. You'll see that we have a clean slate. From here, we can either build a layout from scratch or use one of the pre-built rows to start our design by hovering over the plus icon at the top, navigating to the Rows tab, and then choosing a specific row. In this case, we'll scroll down to the Hero Banner row. Then click on it and drag it across to the very top of the page and drop it in. From here, we could customize the elements by double-clicking on the element we want to update. Say, the title, for example. Add in a new title and click Save. In the same way, we could add additional rows. For example, we could add the Features row by clicking on it and dragging it across. We could continue down and build out our page by following this approach. We'll delete the Features row for now. In addition to using the pre-designed rows, you can also create your own layout from scratch. To demonstrate this, we'll recreate the Hero Banner layout above, but build it from scratch. To do this, we'll scroll down to the bottom of the page. The first thing we'll do is add in the modules we want to use. In this case, we want to use a text module and a button module. So we'll click on the plus icon at the bottom of the page and add in our text module and hit Save. Then drag in our button module to sit below that and click Save. For the purpose of this example, we'll copy the text from the Hero Banner above. However, you will need to add in your content. To do that, we'll double-click on the text module above. Copy the content. Go back into our new text module and paste in the content. With all the text selected, set the alignment to center via the Visual Editor settings. We'll need to amend the text color to white, but we'll do this after we add the background image into the row. We'll hit Save. We'll then double-click on the button module. We prefer the square button option, so we'll select that. We won't amend the text or link, but you know how to do that. What we will change is the alignment. To do this, head to the Styling tab, and in the General tab, select the Font option. Scroll down and change the alignment to Center. We'll then select Save. We now need to add in the background image to the row, as well as the padding to replicate the hero banner section design. To do this, we'll scroll up to the row settings at the top for the hero banner and click on the Edit options. The row width is set to full width container row, so we'll change that in a moment. If we go to the Styling tab, we'll see that it's using a background image. For this example, we'll just copy the link URL. However, you will be able to upload your own image, use a video URL, or leverage an image slider instead. Below that, we can see that the background mode is set to full cover, which we will need to replicate. If we click on the row overlay, we can see that it's using a row overlay gradient, which we can recreate. And if we look under padding, we can see that it's applying 8% of padding, which we can add in as well. Okay, so let's scroll down to the section we're creating and click on the row settings. Firstly, let's set the row width to full width container row. We'll then go into the Styling tab. Under Background, we'll paste the link we copied from above. Alternatively, you could upload an image or choose one from your media library. We'll set the background mode to full cover. Then, under the row overlay option, we'll choose the gradient option. We'll set a linear gradient with a rotation of 327 degrees. Set our 3 gradient colors. Remember to set the opacity to around 50 to 60%. We'll just make it look similar. It doesn't need to be exactly the same. Then we'll click on the padding option and add 8% of padding to all sides. Then select Save. We'll then double-click on the text module, navigate to the Styling tab and click on the Font option. Here we'll set the font color to white and then select Save. We'll double-click on the button, set the color to yellow, and then click Save. And there you have it. That's how you'll use the Builder to create layouts from scratch. Remember, we've been doing this for years, so if it's a little slower to start with, that's totally normal. Within a few hours, you'll be through the steepest part of the learning curve, and you'll find that this actually becomes quite enjoyable, slightly addictive even. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense and you're feeling comfortable enough to build out the rest of your page layouts. Follow the link on the Oakland post to the documentation if you need additional info regarding the Themify Builder or any of the modules. Once you've got your website looking the way you want and you're ready to launch, there's a few best practices that you should follow to ensure you get the best results. If you want your website to be searchable via search engines like Google, then the first thing is to ensure that your WordPress settings aren't blocking search engines from indexing your website. To check this, from the WordPress dashboard, hover over Settings in the Admin panel and select Reading. Scroll down to the bottom to the Search Engine Visibility section. Ensure the box is unchecked so that Google can crawl and index your website. Keep this box checked while you're still working on your site, but uncheck it once you're ready to go live. Once you've done that, we would recommend watching our step-by-step video on how to index your website using the free Yoast SEO plugin and Google Search Console. This will help to make your website discoverable via search engines like Google. We'll add a link to the description below, or you can find it via the Videos tab of our YouTube channel. We would also recommend installing Google Analytics on your website. You guessed it, we've created a free step-by-step video on how to do this as well. With the Utlra theme, you can add the required tracking code within the Themify settings section. To do this, from your WordPress dashboard, hover over Themify Utlra and select Themify Settings. Under the General tab, scroll down to the Header Code section And this is where you'll paste your Google Analytics tracking code. Okay, so that wraps up our How to Create a Website Using WordPress tutorial for 2018 and 2019. If you like this video, hit the like button, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos related to WordPress, digital marketing, and how to run a successful website. Your feedback is appreciated, so please leave a comment below and tell us what you liked or if there is anything you found difficult, so we can put together additional videos to help support you as you build your website. To get access to exclusive discounts, free tutorials, and to stay in the loop on the latest updates, sign up to our newsletter at Ohklyn, OHKLYN.com. And until next time, happy building!